Hi everyone, hello, it's really good to be here tonight. I haven't done a workshop for a few weeks. If you are a new member here, thank you very much for joining. I really do appreciate it. So these workshops that I do that are for members only, I offer my insights, my experiences, and also obviously knowledge about the topic that I'm going to discuss. Tonight's is, of course, what to do if your partner wants an open relationship. I'm going to be talking about how to handle that. I'm going to be talking about how I handled that when I had that conversation, and also how to be, if you're the one asking about open relationships in your relationship, then I'm going to give some advice for that as well. So thank you very much for joining me tonight. I do hope you've been enjoying the members only content. I do hope you've been enjoying the rebranding that I've done. So thank you basically for joining. So let's crack on with tonight's workshop, what to do if your partner wants an open relationship. Now, for many people, being on the receiving end of this conversation, it is really scary. I know what it's like. I have been there myself, as I said, and I know that it's really daunting. It's really scary. You think that it's kind of going to signify the end of life as you know it, and you don't know what to do, because all of a sudden, chances are this conversation has hit you out of seemingly nowhere, and suddenly your mind goes, oh my God, are they going to leave me? Why are they having these thoughts? Why are they wanting to open this up? Am I not enough? Your first thing to do in most cases is panic and be really worried. This is an entirely normal and natural response, guys and girls. I don't need to tell you that I was there when I had this conversation. My first response was to cling on to my partner, and I was very, very fearful. So what to do if your partner wants an open relationship? I'm going to tell you, the first thing you have to do is not panic. I know that's probably the first thing that you are going to do, and it's a very natural response. The first thing you do is not panic. The fact that your partner has come to you with this in mind, wanting to have this conversation, wanting to have this open dialogue with you, is a really, really encouraging one. The fact that they feel comfortable enough to have this conversation is a really positive first step and something to build on. You may not be at the point where you're saying, yes, let's do this. You may not be there for another 6 months to a year. I understand that. You may not ever open up that relationship. You might have to compromise, and there might have to be a meeting of minds. But the fact that they have come to you and brought this to you is a really positive step. So the first thing you need to do is take a deep breath and be grateful and be thankful that your partner can be like this with you, because there are so many people who never have this conversation and they still go ahead with trying to open up their relationship because they don't know how to have the dialogue, they don't know how to have the conversation. The fact that your partner can come to you and talk like that is a really positive first step. So you need to appreciate that, and you also need to reassure your partner that it's thank you for coming to me, thank you for talking about this. It's great that you can great that we can have this dialogue, and then you can start talking about it. So acknowledging it, and just be really mindful that also it's a really brave move. One reason that a lot of people don't talk about these things or shy away from talking about these things is because they're really frightened of what might happen. They're frightened of fear of, they're fearful of rejection. They're frightened of what their partner's going to respond with. So they never actually have this. So again, it's a really good indicator if your partner does come to you with this, that they don't feel apprehensive and they're not scared of rejection. So that's definitely something to build on. So what to do if your partner wants an open relationship? As I said, the first thing is to respond with fear and apprehensive. Our relationships are our private worlds, and we work really hard to keep them that way. We work really hard at creating an amazing private world between us and our partners, our husbands, our wives, our boyfriends, our girlfriends. You know, we have our own words that we say to each other, our own routines we do. We have our own lives together, whether we live together or not, and they are really private because that's the space where you can be yourself completely. So opening that up and letting somebody else in, or letting, you know, other influences to kind of come in, that is really scary. And I completely understand why you might be feeling really, really scared. So as I said, we do work really hard to build this, build our bonds within our relationships. But you have to understand that if somebody is wanting to open up a relationship, they want to open things up in a marriage, then they're not seeking to replace you. They're just seeking to add something else to their experiences. Now, very often people think that they are being replaced. They think that they're not good enough. But in actual fact, it's their partner who wants to have other experiences. Perhaps they want to try different things. Perhaps they want to have same-sex experiences with somebody else. Perhaps they want to have try the BDSM swinger crossover, and you're not into that, but they want to experience that and have that. And a way that they can do this is by opening up the relationship. So sometimes it's not always as clear cut as, oh my God, they're going to replace me. Oh my God, I'm not enough. Oh my God, I don't satisfy them. Sometimes it's more about the other person want to experience different things. I'm going to get onto this much later on, because there's lots of ways to have open relationships. The first thing you need to do is set yourself, both of you, a set of rules and boundaries that you both follow. If you're not sure what rules and boundaries to go for, the first step, I always say, or the first place to start, is by looking at safe practices, whether this is safe sex or kind of respectful, mindful practices, depending on what type of relationship, open relationship you're seeking, whether it is going to be a physical, intimate one, or whether it's going to be a slightly different dynamic with somebody. So the first place to go is, of course, safe practices. You need to discuss how you're going to keep yourself safe, how you're going to keep your partner safe as well. Are they going to have knowledge about the type of open relationship you have? Are you going to talk about all the people you're going to meet? Are you going to discuss that with them? Or are you going to keep them shielded from that? Because sometimes some people want to know about the other people their partners are meeting. Some people don't. Some people like to discuss the whole thing thoroughly. Some people don't like to know what goes down. They just accept that their partners do it and have an understanding. So really it's about finding that balance and finding what suits you. I've met plenty of people who they're married and she identifies as bisexual, but she has you know, a woman who she sees, or kind of a casual girlfriend who she sees as well as being married, and the husband, he accepts it, he's respectful of it, he's mindful of it, he's accepting, but he doesn't want to know the details. He doesn't want to know what goes on dates. He doesn't want to know what clubs they go to. He doesn't want to know the finer details. Whereas for some people, they do really enjoy kind of finding out about that. I've been in a relationship with somebody where it was open. He was also seeing somebody, another couple actually, who he'd been friends a long time. He was seeing them, and again, like at first I wasn't sure how to handle it, and I learned all about it, and then as time progressed, he would tell me about it, and that became the norm for us. And me kind of discussing it with him and us bonding over it was how we found a way to make it work for us. So there's all different ways to do it. Some people want to know about it, some people don't want to know about it. So again, these are things that you have to discuss with your partner. Some people like to have complete transparency, other people don't. They just know that, oh, you know, my wife's gone to a swingers club, my boyfriend's gone to a swingers club, and that's it. So you have to find a middle ground and find what you're both comfortable with. So you have to discuss kind of how is it going to take place? Is it going to be away from your kind of your home together? Is it going to be in swingers clubs? Is it going to be at a fetish club? If it's a BDSM dynamic they're seeking outside of a relationship? Is that going to be with a professional dom or dominatrix? Is it going to be that they're going to go to like BDSM and kink clubs to experience whatever it is they want? These are all things that you need to investigate and set down some rules to find out what works for you. So instead of just kind of going, that's it, I want an open relationship, because that is really scary, do a little bit of research and kind of set out some guidelines and some rules as to how it's going to take place, where it's going to take place, and what it is going to look like, and what you're both happy with discussing. As I said, I do know what it feels like to be the person on the receiving end. I also know what it is like to be the person asking the question. I have been in both situations, and I think sometimes, although it's not always easy to do, you have to look at the point of view of the person who is the most vulnerable. You have to look at their point of view, whether it's the person on the receiving end of it, and we have to acknowledge and sympathize with what's going through their mind. And then sometimes if you are the if you're the person on the receiving end and it's your partner who's talking about it, you have to put yourself in their position as well and sympathize with them. I know this is hard to do, and it takes a lot of courage to do it, but I think if you sympathize and if you are understanding, then you'll get a lot further. For me personally, with the guy I was with, now he was a bisexual man, and I accepted that he was bisexual. When he said he wanted to open that up and see this couple, because the couple were a bisexual couple. It was a man and a woman, but they were both bi. And when he said he wanted to open things up with them and explore on his own and go with them, I had to understand and accept that there was nothing I could do, because I'm not a man and I couldn't give him what it was he was wanting. And he already had a kind of a long-standing friendship with this couple. He wanted to be with me, but he didn't want to kind of knock this on the head. Also, he was exploring something with the guy. And I didn't want to be the one to say, no, you're not allowed to do this. I wanted him to enjoy his sexuality. I wanted to embrace it and explore it more. And I didn't want to be holding him back from that. And that's something I had to accept. And it's not easy to do, but once you accept it and once you understand it, that they go and they, you know, have these experiences, but always come back to you and your core bond remains intact, it's really not that scary. So I do know what it's like. Another important point to make is that if your partner comes to you and they say, look, they want to have the conversation, you really do have to understand that they haven't gone down the cheating road. They haven't gone down the road of being deceitful. They haven't gone down the road of being you know, sneaking around behind your back, because they don't want to do that. What they want to do is preserve your relationship. It's a strange paradigm, I know it is, but by opening up your relationship and putting things in place, you are actually going to maintain a healthier relationship rather than sneaking around. So there's more than one way to have an open relationship. For many people, when you first start kind of suggesting it, when they first hear those words open relationship, they think, oh, my partner's going to leave me, they're going to go and have sex with another person, and that it's going to be all sexual and based on sex and really intimate and really deep, and there's going to be lots of emotion involved. And yeah, there may be, but not for everyone. There are so many different ways to have open relationships. So a few of these ways could be that you are bisexual. You identify as a bi person and you want to go and have same-sex experiences with other bisexuals or gay people. This is something I can certainly relate to. I can't turn off being bisexual. I do quite a lot of work with other content creators. My good friend Nikki at Celestial Soul Coach is a married woman who identifies as bisexual. She approached me about this a few months ago and we spoke about it, and I gave her lots of advice and lots of reassurance, and I've helped her quite a lot understand it. But she's gone on this journey with her husband, and it's something which she's found she can't turn it off. And I think if you can relate to the being in this situation, you can't turn it off. And the only thing that you can do is embrace it and accept it. You can try and suppress it, you can try and ignore it, but for me personally, I would never recommend you do that, because it is, for me, fundamental to who I am. It's not optional, it's who I am as a person. So one reason that somebody might want an open relationship is the fact that they are bisexual and they need those they need to have those desires fulfilled. They need that part of their sexuality and their character fulfilled. So that's one reason. Another reason could be that your partner is wanting to explore other sexual dynamics. This could be certain kinks, certain fetishes. It could be that they want to explore BDSM scene. Perhaps you're not into that yourself. Perhaps the thought of whips and chains and a dom sub relationship is absolutely appalling to you. Perhaps it's not something you would ever do. Perhaps your partner would like to experience being kind of like a switch around of roles, and they want to be the submissive partner and they want you to be dominant. You don't feel like, you don't want to be. It doesn't come naturally. You're not interested. You don't want it, which is absolutely fine. We've all been there when our partners have suggested things, but we don't want to facilitate them because they simply don't appeal. So in that case, I would say the best thing to do for me would be for that partner to seek whatever it is they want outside of the existing relationship. Now, this doesn't mean sneaking around with kind of somebody else. It means approaching it in a natural, realistic and respectful manner. What do I mean by this? I mean, go and see somebody who does this for a living. If you want to experience what it's like to be with a dominatrix, go and seek out a professional dominatrix. Yes, you're opening up your relationship. Yes, you are facilitating that desire, but you're doing it in a really organic way, because you're going to see somebody, they do this for a living. You're not going to like suddenly run off with that dominatrix. They're not going to suddenly fall in love with you. They're not going to suddenly say, I think you should leave your wife and go. They're not like that. They do it for a living. Guys, it's the same with doms as well. A sub-dom relationship is very much the same. They're not going to run off with your partner. They're not going to seek to, take them away from themselves. Sometimes a lot of these relationships are not even incredibly sexual. They're more about the dynamic between the two people and the trust involved. So if you want to seek something like that out, if you want to experience something like that, this can be another way that you have an open relationship. I was speaking to somebody recently at an event I was at, and they were asking me how they can experience certain things in the BDSM world when their partner wasn't open to it. And this was the advice I said to them: go down those routes that are there for you. These people, they provide a service. Yes, you're still opening up your relationship, and yes, you're still seeking some fulfillment outside of your existing relationship, but it's not going to have a knock-on effect because it doesn't affect you too. You're not seeking to replace one another. You're simply seeking to facilitate those wants, those desires, those needs that you have inside you. So you're not looking for a replacement. You're just looking for an extra add-on. So that's another way that you can have an open relationship. Now, some people I've also met in swinger clubs, they have tendencies, they have like voyeuristic tendencies. So I'm just looking at messages. They have voyeuristic tendencies, or they want to be part of a gangbang scenario. They want to be part of a perhaps like almost like a greedy girl party or something like that. Their own partner isn't this. Again, I've been in a situation like this. Their own partner isn't. I'm not into those types of parties. I'm not into gangbang. I'm not into greedy girl parties. It's not my thing. But my partner at the time was. He really wanted to enjoy it. He really wanted to experience it and be part of it. So I said, you know what? Go and be part of it. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm not interested. You're not going to suddenly run off with that girl because she's there with her husband and there's maybe like 10 or 15 other guys there. He wanted to experience it. I already decided I wasn't interested. I know deep down, like, it's not for me. He wanted to experience it. Okay, go and experience it. It had no effect on our relationship and the dynamic between us and the love that we have, because we spoke about it, where it would take place, when, what was that was going to be like, how he was going to be safe with it, was he going to tell me about it afterwards, how were we going to reconnect afterwards, and it was all fine. It didn't really have an effect on us because we had this transparency between us. He wasn't going to run off with, as I said, run off with somebody there, because again, he just wasn't there for that. You know, he wasn't interested in that. There wasn't that going on. You know, he wasn't sneaking around with anybody. So again, there are lots of different ways to have open relationships. It's not as clear cut as what many people think. But as I said at the beginning of this, the first thing you need to do is not panic. It's not the end of life as you know it. And the fact that they have come to you, your partner has come to you with this request, with this desire to open things up and explore other possibilities, it is a really encouraging one. It isn't always that they, you know, they're looking to replace you and that you're not good enough. It's really difficult to kind of turn off that negative monologue that we have, and that doubt and that kind of insecurity. It is really difficult to turn that off, but you have to understand that they're not seeking to replace you. And also, you know, it may not be your thing right now, but in 6 months' time, or in a year's time, you might feel ready to explore these things. There's no hard and fast rule. It might not appeal to you at all. It might not appeal to them in the long run. It might be that they want to explore something. Actually, they didn't enjoy it that much, or actually you decide to do it together, or perhaps they want to experience something different. Perhaps you want to go and experience something different. The great thing about this lifestyle is that there's no hard and fast rule. There's no set in stone way to be. Your rules change, your boundaries change, your limits change, what you want to experience changes. We're always evolving as sexual beings, and there's no kind of right or wrong way. You just have to experience things and find out for yourself. So I hope this workshop has given you some kind of light at the end of the tunnel and a little bit of clarification that having an open relationship does not spell life as end of life as you know it. I am living proof that you can get through it. I am living proof that you can be on both sides of the fence, both sides of the coin. I need to stop speaking in cliche. I do it all the time. You can be on both sides. It doesn't spell life as end of life as you know it. If you're the one going to your partner with that desire, if you're the one wanting to open up that dialogue, then do it with love, do it with understanding, do it with compassion, do it with sympathy for the person on the receiving end, because it is going to be really scary for them. You can't turn it off. If you're the person on the receiving end and you are scared and you are feeling nervous and anxious and fearful, understand and accept that that is completely normal. The only thing you can both do is work together to find a solution and something that you're both happy with. A meeting of minds is the most important thing, and always treat your relationship with utmost love and respect, because without the relationship there is no core bond between you. I hope you've enjoyed this workshop, guys and girls. I've really enjoyed giving it. I'm going to have lots more workshops coming up. I'm also going to be doing a lot of, I'm going to be making some courses as well that you can download and buy, which is really exciting. So I hope you enjoy it. Keep your eye out for the courses. I hope you're enjoying the new website. Let me know your thoughts, guys and girls, and I shall see you next time. Bye.